FL Studio tutorial, and this tutorial I figured I'd go over getting started in FL Studio when it comes to getting started making a song or an intro, anything in FL Studio, getting started, straight down to like the samples, the sounds that you're using, a little bit about piano roll, etc. And in case you missed my last tutorial, I wanted to I left out a couple things that I wanted to touch very quickly. I wanted to go over what I went over in my last tutorial very briefly, just in case you missed it and you're seeing this one first. We went over recording into Edison and recording straight into the playlist and how FL Studio automatically saves it and where you could find that over here. We went over snap settings in the playlist and in piano roll, and we went over how to get legacy pattern blocks, and organizing your samples and plugins and instruments with a corresponding master channel in one click where it transfers the name, color, and keeps it all very organized, as well as a very basic overview of what it means to oscillate, or like an oscillator tab, something like that. It's in a lot of plugins, so you know when it comes to automating that what it will be doing, and also how to automate knobs in non-native plugins very quickly, like Massive and FM8. So if any of that interests you, you can go back and see my first tutorial. I'm basically trying to cover things that a lot of other tutorials don't cover. And in this one, I wanted to very briefly cover something that was left out of the last tutorial, and it is how to set a background. If you go up here to View, down to background, you can either set an HTML document like a web document, or go to set bitmap wallpaper, go through any of your pictures, set it, boom, there it is. Also, if you go up here to MIDI settings, I have a MIDI keyboard, but for the longest time I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't work. So if I turn this off real quick, now it's off, nothing. There's nothing coming through, and I couldn't figure out what to do for a long time. And if you just come into here after plugging in your MIDI device, whatever it is, plug in your MIDI controller, go to Options, MIDI Options, Rescan Devices. It should be an input, one of these right here. Mine is off, obviously, so it's not showing up. I turn it back on, I rescan, there it is. Now it's enabled again, and now I can use it. Also in audio options, when you get FL Studio, it should come with ASIO for all. If you have an external sound drive or sound card, or an internal sound card, whatever, it'll be right here under ASIO devices. FL Studio works best with ASIO devices, and I know there's a lot of questions on these. I know it took me a long time to set mine up. It was just confusing, and it may not be for other people, but it was for me. So if you have problems with it, feel free to ask me. But here's your ASIO for all devices. I use my Focusrite. I also have a Tractor Control S4. But this, under audio settings, is your ASIO devices. So that's where to find that if you're having trouble getting an output out of FL Studio. Sorry about that. And sorry it's been a while since I uploaded. This past weekend I got in a terrible car crash. It was ridiculous. I can't even believe this happened. So I haven't been able to get online for a while. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm back. Ta-da! And yeah, so next video. So for the new tutorial, I wanted to talk about Vengeance samples, which it doesn't have to be Vengeance per se, but when it comes to starting a song, I think Vengeance is where it is at. Their samples are amazing, and nothing against FL Studio, but their stock samples are just crap. You cannot make a good song with this stuff. Just listen. That's what they give you stock, and I know they have other stuff in their own sample stuff like Legacy, where they have hip-hop and hits and dance and club, but really none of that compares to anything like what Vengeance has. If I go into like Vengeance dubstep and go to their kicks, I mean, the samples, the quality difference is ridiculous. And they have, I think, 300 kicks. Yeah, 300 of kicks of all different types just in their dubstep pack. Now I have their house, their club, electro essentials, dubstep, all almost all of their sample packs, and it's just amazing. So when it comes to making a song, the first place to start is good samples, because you can't make a bad sample sound that much better. And of course they have multiple snares too. So I will put a link in the description where you can get Vengeance samples. And I also have other samples that were free, like Lex Luger drum kits, where he has basses, chants, claps, effects, all that good stuff. And I got that for free. So you can YouTube like sample packs, free sample packs, or Google it, and there's a lot out there that are really good. My favorites, Lex Luger and Vengeance. I can't put in the description where I got the Lex Luger one, I don't even remember. But like I said, if you just Google it or YouTube search it, you'll find it. Vengeance will be in the description where you can get those. Another thing I wanted to talk about going into piano roll, let me just insert FL keys, which is, it's the FL Studio native piano. If you go into piano roll, another thing that I wanted to cover in this, when you go into piano roll, a lot of people, I'm assuming a lot of people, I mean I did, when I would hear a song when I first started making music, I would wonder, why do they choose those notes? Like, how does the artist know this and that will go together, that it will make a harmony and that it will sound good together? And it took me a long time to learn music theory, but I never knew that inside piano roll there is a cheat sheet, if you will. If you do this drop down right here, you can go to chord, and here's all these chords. And I know if you don't already know about chords, this is very, very confusing. But in scales, you have scales here too. So you can go right here to major. We'll just keep it simplistic. Go to major. We'll put it in the C chord, or in the C scale, because that seems to be just like the default, if you will, in music. It's very simple. In the C scale, it's all the white keys. And when I first started, something that I would do is I would copy the C scale up to C6, I'd copy it down C4, we'll copy it one more time. So now FL Studio, when I insert one note, is inserting an entire scale, a major scale. And so here now I have the scale of C major scale, and I can go in here and I'll exit this out. And when I start to make a song, and occasionally I still do this, I will leave the scale up top. So let's say I insert 3XOSC or 3 times oscillator. Now I go into my piano roll, and here are these highlighted notes where I know I can start my song, and it's going to be in the scale of C major. So if I decide to make a song in C major, now all these highlighted notes I know are going to be in the scale of C. And how you get those notes on, if you do this drop down right here and go to helpers, you can highlight ghost channels. And that makes it to where anything else in the pattern that's in piano roll, those notes will show up in the other piano rolls of that pattern. So if you're trying to make harmonies or keep things in scale, they're right there. And you can also, for the same purpose, go down to this chord tab and just choose a major chord. So you know if you click on C, oh, there's a major chord, or an A, there's an A major chord. And every chord may not be in the scale of C, but it's also a really good way to lay down a major chord and know that it's correct, as a little a shortcut, if you will, if you do not know music theory. And I would be willing to tackle music theory if I had enough requests to do it, but that's just a quick shortcut. I think that if you don't know much about music theory and you're just getting started in music, that gives you some time to play around with melodies and actually making songs that are musically in tone, that are in harmony and stuff. As long as you know the scale, it at least gives you a starting point. And you may not know exactly what chords go with this scale or what chord progression, but I'm sure I'll tackle that at another date if I get enough questions. I'm just trying to cover some of the basic stuff while I'm waiting for you guys, the viewers, to ask me questions, or to, what is a word for it? Request something that isn't in these. And for the time being, I'll just keep trying to cover the basics, and I think I may get into soon how to do remixes. I may do a walkthrough of my Thrift Shop Macklemore remix that I did, or I should word that, Macklemore Thrift Shop remix that I did. Either way, I think I may get into a remix section So until then, hopefully this helps somebody out. See you guys later. Bye.